Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is Google MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio and Michael Bullock. I must apologize with you guys. Normally we were supposed to start this at 11 o'clock. I tried to start my computer, and let's just say it glitched. Would not let me into the StreamYard site, which is normally where this is our home base, where we do all of our live broadcast and everything else. And normally the StreamYard link on my laptop just would not let me do it for some odd reason. Don't know why. Um, Unfortunately, I was designated and was forced excuse me, to do it on my cell phone, and that's what we are doing. So that's where we're at. That's what we got. Stinks, but hey, it is what it is. So obviously we got ourselves a really good big show here tonight. Smackdown Live, followed by AEW Rampage. There is a special Mikey's Mindset, as I will be recapping RWA Goes Broadway, the big show that went down this past weekend. And I got a lot to talk about on that show. I even took notes. I actually took notes. So I got all the results. I'll give you that breakdown in just a minute. So with that said, we're going to dive right on in, as always, starting off with Smackdown Live. That was from Chicago. It was from formerly known as the Rosemont Horizon, now known as the Allstate Arena. And we started it out with the first fight of the night, Damage Control, Io Sky and Dakota Kai going up against Tegan Nox and Liv Morgan, winners of the bout. And 14 minutes and 48 seconds was Damage Control. Excellent match. Very solid opener. Good matchup. All the women really stood out in this fight, especially Tegan. You know what? This was the first match back for her. She looked great in the ring. She looked amazing. She looked comfortable. You know, it didn't look like any ring rust. You know, the one thing about Tegan that we were really, really, really worried about was, you know, what is Tegan Nox going to look like in the ring? First fight back, you know, they gave her an opportunity. She took the ball and ran with it. Partnering her up with Liv Morgan definitely was a big plus for us on that one. But there was also a little something that was interesting. During the match, there was a moment where they were pretty close to the barricade, and a masked figure out of nowhere clipped Tegan Nox. Just took her right out of the match for the moment, and security jumped, grabs this person, whoever the hell that person was, and got him out of there, ejected from the building. Well, we thought we knew, but big surprise. We'll wait later in the night to drop that bomb. But yeah, whatever the case may be, this was 3.5, 3 3/4. I thought this was an excellent matchup, and it got a lot of time. Normally, we always talk about, give the women a chance, give them a match, let them perform. Dude, they got almost 15 freaking minutes tonight on SmackDown. I think Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and the boys heard us. I think they knew, hey, give the women a chance. You gave them 15 minutes, you're getting rewarded, WWE. Great start. Florio, it's yours.
Right there with you. But I'm giving it 3.5. I'm not going to give it 3 3/4 because of the finish there, but I will agree with you. 3.5 stars. These two teams had considerable chemistry and really gelled well, especially down the stretch. It would have been nice for the entire heat portion not to have occurred during the commercial break, so as to further enhance things later in the contest, but it did exceed expectations. And we will address the mystery lady in just a moment. that was revealed in an exclusive, but we're not gonna get into that right now. And Wade Barrett on commentary asked, "How good is that chemistry going to be when you're up against the absolute best in damage control?" Questioning the experience of the challengers as a team. Liv Morgan retrieved a kendo stick from under the ring, but Tegan Nox stopped her, preventing them from getting disqualified. Bayley's ongoing rivalry with Michael Cole is one of the best running gags in wrestling today. And Liv Morgan delivered a sunset flip powerbomb off the apron and onto the floor. Great matchup here, no doubt about it. Second best fight of the night. 3.5 stars. And MF, small correction, it's Tegan Nox's second match back. You remember they were... it was her and Liv Morgan against Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler last week. And
that is correct. I stand corrected.
Yep, second match back. So, but anyways, the girl that I call, and Bullock knows this, and MF, you're hearing this for the first time, the girl that I call the rainbow-haired beauty from New Zealand, Tegan Nox, the girl with the shiniest wizard. Yeah, she did look amazing. I 100% agree. So, and provided she can stay healthy, she's going to get even better. She's definitely one to watch for in the new year. There's no question about that. I see big things for that one. So we'll see what happens. But for right now, 3.5 stars. That I'm going to stop it there. I know MF gave it between 3.5 to 3 3/4, but I think 3.5 is the appropriate rating because of the finish. But nothing more for me to say. Champions stay the champions. And Phenom, Michael Bullock, come on in. Fresh off another one of our legendary Smackdown chats as always. And yeah, we definitely had some fun with this matchup. Champions stay the champions, 3.5 stars. If not for that mystery assailant, this mystery lady, it would have been a lot better.
Yeah, but 3.5 stars is my rating. Triple H gave the women a good amount of time to start the show, and that's why they're getting rewarded here for a good rating like this. 3.5 stars. I would have given it 3 3/4 if it weren't for the finish there, but still, a great matchup. The champions stay the champions, and I'll tell you what, 2 matches in, Tegan Nox, I think, looks really good since coming back to WWE, and like you said, the ongoing thing with Michael Cole and Bayley is just so funny when it comes to that. But yeah, we'll reveal later on who the mystery person was that decked Tegan Nox and eventually led to the demise of Tegan Nox and Liv Morgan's chances of becoming champions. So 3.5 stars. Fletch, let's move on.
Now, there was some promo stuff along the way, but we're not going to get into that. But we do need to get into this. Intercontinental Championship fight on the line. Gunther putting the title on the line against the World Cup winner, which was Ricochet. The winner of the bout. 21 minutes, 37 seconds, and still the Intercontinental Champion, Gunther, representing Imperium. Anthony Florio, if there was ever a match that defies the SmackDown logic, this was it. The SmackDown fight of the year.
21, how much?
21:37.
4.5 to 4 3/4 of a star. Bullock and I were going back and forth. We were debating about if we should give it 5. We can't quite do it, but 4.5 to 4 3/4. You could certainly make an argument for 5. Absolutely, you could. Neither of us would be mad at you, but I'll get into my personal take on this. But first, the professional take. Gunther continued his late push for Wrestler of the Year contention, even while Ricochet added to his sneaky good year with a fantastic championship bout that had the wrestling appreciative fans in Chicago hanging on every near fall. The striking was great, the dynamic even better, and the story easy to follow. Both competitors threw everything they had at the other before one simply outdid the other. It was a great bit of business and a fine way to wrap up a weeks-long story involving the Smackdown World Cup and its winner. Braun Strowman remained involved in the ongoing story, continuing to present imposing opposition to Gunther and Imperium. And based on his allegiance with Ricochet, well, don't expect a tag team match of sorts as soon as next week, because we're going to get one next week. And by the way, double taping. This is a double taping here tonight. We had a live show tonight. Next week's show is going to be taped. They're taping next week's show as we speak, or they could be about wrapping it up. They could be getting towards the end of that. But next week on SmackDown, tape show, the night before Christmas Eve, the night before we get to the big Christmas weekend next week. How about unfortunately, it's a match that, we kind of don't, it's one of those McMagma traditions, but based on the competitors in this match, this one has potential to be something good. We got ourselves, yes, it will be the Miracle on 34th Street fight, but look who's in it. Ricochet and Braun Strowman versus Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci of Imperium. So get ready. Get ready for what could be something special here. Gunther chopped the air out of Ricochet, obliterating his chest with an open hand strike. Ricochet errantly attempted a power move that Gunther shut down quickly. The combatants traded strikes late, with Ricochet landing his own chop. A super kick stunned Gunther but chopped him out of midair moments later. And a powerbomb for a near fall left the fans on the edges of their seats. I mean, if not for the commercials in this, Bullock and I probably would have pulled the trigger and we probably would have given this 5. But Bullock and I, just like everybody else watching at home with us, and especially those fans in Chicago, we were all on the edge of our seats. Definitely had some elements of Shakespearean drama in here, no doubt about it. You could certainly make an argument for this to be the TV fight of the year, no question about that. When it comes to WWE, that is. But man alive, what an incredible match! And now from my personal perspective, matches like this that conjure up the great memories of yesteryear, when the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship belt meant everything. And the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship, the importance of it, this match made that title prestigious. And, for many years, that belt was being treated like a joke, which I personally considered damn insulting. Because you both of you guys, and especially UMF, you know how I feel about the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship belt. You've seen my old school replica championship belt on this program before. And because that's how much that I appreciate it and I take it seriously. And a match like that tonight, what we saw tonight, shows you just how damn important that title is. And Gunther and Ricochet, well done. I mean, we knew they were gonna have a great match. We didn't think it was gonna be this great. Out of the matches they've had before, this was hands down the best one. So well done. 4.5, 4 3/4. You could certainly make an argument for 5. We wouldn't be mad at you. But man alive, what an incredible match. And wow. So not much more to say on this. Michael Bullock, Phenom, what can I say? I mean, you and I, during our SmackDown chat tonight, it was a breathtaking match from the opening bell to the very end. And we were on the edge of our seats. And boy, howdy. I mean, what an Intercontinental title match that made that title prestigious for the first time in many years.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Florio, the prestige is brought back to that Intercontinental title. And it wasn't just this match here. You're forgetting another match, Florio, that brought some prestige back to that title. Need I remind you?
As of right now, front runner for match of the year in 2022, Gunther and Sheamus at Clash at the Castle in Principality Stadium in Cardiff.
Yeah, because prior to all this, because when McMagma was running the show, he made that Intercontinental title look like a freaking joke. And as knowing how much when it comes to you and the history of that Intercontinental title, Florio, I understand how pissed off you are. Heck, I was too, because of all the greats that have held that Intercontinental Championship. I mean, from Ric Flair to Shawn Michaels to Bret the Hitman Hart. I mean, the first ever Intercontinental Champion, the late great Hall of Famer Pat Patterson. I mean, so many great names that have held that title. And I'm sure the names I mentioned must have been smiling at what we saw here tonight with those two. I mean, what a match this was. 4.5, 4 3/4. Just a little bit more, and I would have pulled the trigger and given it 5. But 4.5, 4 3/4, nothing to sneeze at here. Great work by both men. And obviously, after the match, I mean, Imperium tried to make it a 3-on-1 beatdown, but Braun Strowman came out, and I think we're now officially looking at Gunther's next challenger in Braun Strowman, because I mean, we thought originally that this was going to be the final, or that Braun Strowman was going to come out with that World Cup, where basically the three of us called him out on it, but of course we all got swerved on it. But this time around, I think it's going to happen. So, and you saw Braun Strowman when he pulled Ricochet up and urged the crowd to give him that standing ovation, and I mean, that's class on the part of Braun Strowman there. So great work by both men. 4.5, 4 3/4, just a little bit more, and I would have pulled the trigger and give it 5. You can give it 5, and yeah, I wouldn't be upset if you gave it 5. So nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
Okay, and then right after that, we did get a monster announcement. As there was a backstage segment with Roman Reigns, with Paul Heyman. They brought Adam Pearce, and you heard it. It's gonna be a big tag team match, December 30th. So not next week, because as you know, Anthony alluded to it, double taping. So one taping to a live show tonight. Next week is a taping show, but then on December 30th, which is the final Smackdown of the year, many of you guys know already one thing, that John Cena was coming back. They already announced him that he was going to appear. Well, now the show just took a major turn. So now there's going to be a tag team fight going down on that show. So if you want to know what Triple H and Fox are really giving us a big time show, this is their version of like the New Year's 6. This is going to be one of those type of events, one of those type of nights that's going to get us pretty much jacked up heading into 2023. So no doubt about it. Incredible setup. As it was pertained, they had to sit down, and it was gonna be that the match was gonna be Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn versus the partner against Kevin Owens and a partner of his choosing, and that's gonna happen in Tampa, at the home of the Lightning, at the Amalie Arena, or I think it's Amalie, on December 30th. Now, we'll find out a little bit later on that. Next up, we have with Legado del Fantasma, Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro. They went up against Hit Row, Top Dollar and Shanti and the Adonis, and the Viking Raiders in a triple threat tag team fight. Hit Row wins the match in 9 minutes and 20 seconds. Michael Bullock, not the best match. Definitely Top Dollar getting a lot of heat online for basically causing quite a few botchamania moments in this fight tonight.
You're forgetting another thing, Fletch, when it comes to this match. There were some high stakes for this one, because the winner of this match gets a shot at the Usos for the undisputed WWE Tag Team titles. And that's going to go down next week. So, yeah, Hit Row. Yeah, there were some botches here, but I'll tell you what, man. They survived the botches, and now Hit Row is about to endure the biggest match of their young lives, especially since rejoining WWE. Now they're going to get the shot at the Usos. So, big match for them. I mean, a big win for them. It could lead to something even bigger next week. So, we'll see what happens with that. So, but as far as this match here goes, I'll give it about maybe 2.5. I mean, it was a fine match. I mean, yeah, there were some botches here. I mean, especially with Top Dollar trying to go for a tope con hilo, and yeah, that didn't go so well there. But even with those botches, I still enjoyed the match. I mean, so 2.5. It was all right, but it was really nothing really that special. But definitely a big win for Hit Row here, and they get the tag title opportunity next week. So it's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, big win for Hit Row. They needed that. They needed a moment like this. They needed a big victory here. A lot of people's been a little bit hard on Hit Row lately. Hit Row's been getting attacked by the WWE universe, and preferably by a lot of the crew, saying that, they haven't transpired, they haven't done an amazing job. They've been doing a lot of, they've been failing in certain areas that they should be doing better, since they came back from being away from WWE, that they haven't really delivered in any capacity. So Hit Row is getting hit pretty hard by a lot of people. Like I said, I thought it was fine. It was good for what it was worth. So there was really nothing more to add there. So it ends up being, about a 3. I'll say about 2.5 stars. I thought it was fine. So Anthony, it's yours. It's 947 Hit Row, number 1 contenders.
Yeah, 3.25 for this. An action-heavy match, saw things break down late, with all 3 women getting involved: Valhalla, Zelina Vega, and B-Fab, and their fight spilling to the floor. And I reckon that maybe as early as next week, I wouldn't be surprised if during that double taping tonight that they ended up booking a 3-way match with the 3 of those women going at it. And what a match that would be. But anyways, it was a lot of fun, even though it was not necessarily the most fluid of matches at all points. It was still a really enjoyable party match that highlighted the Blue Brands tag team division and gave Hit Row the win they need to really propel forward and be the one of the top babyface tandems on the roster. And it will be interesting to see if Top Dollar actually was hurt following the bout, though, as he was clearly affected by whatever was going on with his left knee. Dipsy-doo, botcheroo, as we always say. And yeah, I think he was most certainly going for a tope con hilo, but hoofa, as we always say, MF. Oh boy.
Yes, agreed.
That was a hoofa moment, no question about it. Eric rocked Top Dollar, but walked right into a double springboard drop kick from Del Toro and Wild. Zelina Vega, she went after Ashante the Adonis with that Hurricanrana. Picture perfect, by the way. Only for B-Fab to get involved, followed by Valhalla. Vega wiped out the ladder on the floor as an exclamation point on the women's involvement. Top Dollar clearly nursing his left knee after the match. So it will be interesting to see if anything goes down during that double taping tonight. But biggest win of Hit Row's career to this point. Could lead to an even bigger win next week, but I got news for you. Well, actually, no. In the immortal words of the analyst on that show, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. It ain't gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
Usos, you kidding me? No. Nah, honey. No, as the Luge would say. Nah, honey. Nope. It'll be 523 days and counting for them. So that's all I'm saying. That's not, and that's certainly not a spoiler. That's a prediction. You could certainly make an argument for both of those, but 3.25 for this. By default, it was the worst fight of the night, mainly because of the botches. But it is what it is. But now, MF, the moment we were all waiting for. Ho ho ho! Chicago, the IWC with the Bloodline. Oh, what a pop!
Yeah. So started out with Roman, cutting a promo with all members of the Bloodline being there, interrupted by John Cena himself. He appears on the big screen, on the big Titantron, and drops the nuke. He is going to be the partner of Kevin Owens on December 30th. Tampa, you got yourself a blockbuster main event. Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens and John Cena. Oh my God. Fox, you are the winners. This show could be the show of the year. This could be the Smackdown of the year. Oh my God, what a match this could be. There's nothing more to say. Roman Reigns being the awesome heel, and he kind of was snarky about it. He kind of was like, all right, fine. So Cena wants a little piece of me and everything else. All right. So he didn't have a problem with it. But my God, Sami Zayn, if looks could kill, he looked like a deer in the headlights because he's like, oh my God, it's Cena. This is not good. He knows what Cena's about. He knows what Cena can do. I mean, remember JBL? What do you know what the word is that he always referred to John Cena as? Big match John. Anytime there's ever a big match, a big level battle, he always steps up. He always rises to the occasion. Hardly ever loses when it comes to big fight. This will have a big fight feel. This is going to be a match that, in other words, this is a pay-per-view level match that we're getting on free TV 2 weeks from tonight. From Tampa at the Amalie. I mean, this is the home of the Tampa Bay Lightning, the former two-time back-to-back Stanley Cup champions before they got dumped at the end last year because of Colorado. But my God, what a show! This is like a cup. Tampa's gonna feel like they're gonna be playing a Stanley Cup level type game. That's what this show's gonna be for the fans in Tampa. How lucky do you get for that to happen? Anthony Florio, oh my God. That's all I was just saying when I heard Cena is gonna be the partner for Owens. Is all I could just say is, oh my God.
Me and Bullock MF during our SmackDown chat, when we first heard about the match and KO with a mystery partner, the light bulb for both of us went right off. The light bulb immediately went off, and we were thinking Cena. We're like, it's got to be Cena. And sure enough, here we are. Whew. Segment of the night. If the intent was to make the December 30th episode of SmackDown destination viewing, WWE accomplished that with this. We knew heading into the show that Cena would appear on that broadcast, but for him to compete in an actual match is a game changer. For him to involve himself in the ongoing Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns story, lends credibility to it as the best in WWE right now and shines a greater light on it. Good on him for coming back, agreeing to work the match, and keeping his 20-year streak, in-ring streak of WWE matches alive and well. Roman said to a suddenly heartbroken Sami Zayn, tonight was going to be a good night for you, but we have a problem. A KO problem. And the look on Sammy's face when he realized he would not be getting what he wanted was great stuff from the best performer in the company right now, whether you like him or don't. And then Cena said, hey, Peacemaker. Cena revealed Owens, called him in the text before adding mermaid, bald eagle, peace emoji. And this is very interesting. We know the history of Kevin Owens and John Cena going back to when Kevin Owens first came to WWE in 2015. When he got called up from NXT while he was the NXT champion. And then in one of his first matches, he beat John Cena at a pay-per-view, the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, I believe it was. So, and they had those incredible matches. They had that series of matches that were all instant classics. Relive them on Peacock anytime. But man, a man the caliber of John Cena, future first ballot Hall of Famer, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Every year since he came to WWE in 2002, he's had at least one match. And, well, he hadn't had a match this year. His last real match, his last significant match was SummerSlam 2021 when he challenged Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship in the main event of that show. His last overall match was a dark match in Madison Square Garden after a Smackdown taping, September the 10th of 21. That was in the Garden, where John Cena teamed with the Mysterios to take on Roman Reigns and the Usos. Too bad that was not a live match. That would have made that show even better. But, it was what it was. But still, this is going to be something else. I mean, John Cena, Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn. Boy, howdy, what a main event that's going to be. And will it be the Smackdown of the year? I don't know, MF. I mean, the show we had 2 weeks ago in Buffalo, that was the Smackdown of the year to this point. But we'll wait and see what happens. They'll need to have at least 2 or 3 other matches or segments on that show that have to be just as great as those. And if they do, and throw in a championship bout or 2 on that show, then maybe. But we'll wait. It remains to be seen, and we'll see what happens in 2 weeks. But it is very exciting. I am with you on that. But SmackDown could it be the SmackDown of the year? It could. I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and see. It's a little too early to speculate, but we'll see. So, segment of the night. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock. When we first heard about this match, when I dropped that on you during that backstage segment with Roman and Adam Pearce. When I told you about the match, you immediately got the light bulb, and then I caught right on with you. We figured it was going to be John Cena, and lo and behold, KO and Cena, Roman and Sammy in 2 weeks. How about it?
Man, oh man, I mean, like you said, as soon as we saw that backstage with the Bloodline about that tag team match, I immediately thought right away, it's got to be John Cena, because he was scheduled to be part of the final SmackDown of 2022, and like you said in that text, I mean, it's been a while since he wrestled, and if he didn't wrestle at all this year, I mean, his run would have been broken, but KO said, how about we change that and extend that streak? So, how about you be my partner? And John Cena accepted, and Tampa, you got yourself a big time quality main event for the final SmackDown of 2022 with KO and the returning John Cena against Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns. You saw the look on Sami Zayn's face. I mean, Roman was happy about it, but Sami was like, he had that look of like, oh shit. I mean, I was he was thinking it was going to be some Hammenegger jabroni, but John Cena is no jabroni. He's no Hammenegger. He's a future Hall of Famer, and no doubt about it. And he's got some unfinished. John Cena's got some unfinished business with Roman, because, like we said, last time they were in the same ring was SummerSlam 2021, when Cena and Roman faced off for the Universal title. Yeah, that I cannot wait for this, to see John Cena back in a WWE ring, and it's gonna be one heck of a night, no doubt about it. So there's really nothing more for me to say. I cannot wait for 2 weeks from now. So nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
Anthony Florio, you start off on the overall review.
Yes, sir. Interesting stat about John Cena before I do. The match next week will be all-time his match number 1,470. He's had 1,469 matches, 163 on pay-per-view. So impressive numbers, to say the least. Now to the overall review. I'm going to give this about somewhere in excess of about, I probably would say 8.5 to 9 out of 10. I mean, Gunther and Ricochet, go out of your way to see that. That was one of the best Intercontinental matches. It certainly is in the argument for TV match of the year. For WWE, you already know where I stand when it comes to TV match of the year. I don't have to reiterate that. Both you guys know where I'm standing on that as of last week. But nonetheless, of course, the women's matchup, that was the second best fight of the night. The tag team match, despite the botches, was a fun little sprint. And then you also had those couple of segments, the Bray Wyatt LA Knight stuff where Uncle Howdy showed up. A lot of people are speculating that's Bo Dallas, but we'll have to wait and see on that. Bo Dallas, of course, the real life brother of Bray Wyatt, as we all know. And it'll be interesting to see if it is really indeed him under the Uncle Howdy getup. And then, of course, that closing segment with the Bloodline getting the big pop like we knew they would in Chicago, IWC capital of the world, and the announcement of Cena that puts it over the top. So 8.5 to 9 out of 10 for me. So you got a big show next week, MF. I mean, man alive. You got a gauntlet match to determine the next challenger for Ronda Rousey in the women's title. You got Hit Row and the Usos for the tag titles, and that Miracle on 34th Street fight with Imperium, Kaiser and Vinci going up against Strowman and Ricochet. We're on track for another good show, even though it's a taped show. So we're going to have to wait and find out. But 8.5 to 9 for me. Another great SmackDown. Far better than Raw. I will honestly admit that. So I'm not even mad at it. So SmackDown has been better than Raw as of late. And I'll honestly admit it. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, 8.5 to 9 out of 10 for me. What says you?
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. 8.5 to 9 for me. It was, what really put it over the top was obviously that Gunther and Shane. Gunther and Ricochet. Of course, also the big surprise, of course, of John Cena. He's going to be wrestling on the final SmackDown of 2022. It was definitely a really good show. So there's really nothing more for me to say. Fletch, let's get your thoughts, and then let's get to AEW Rampage.
All right, it is indeed 8.5. I definitely am going 8.5 to 8 3/4. This was an excellent SmackDown. Solid show from beginning to end. It was thrilling enough. It had its good moments here. I don't think there was anything bad. That's one thing that I know. That WWE had just enjoyable television tonight. The matches were enjoyable. The action was enjoyable. Everything about it was perfect. To me, I can't say anything bad. It was amazing. It was awesome. Let's get into AEW Rampage, starting it off with Jon Moxley versus Sammy Guevara. Moxley wins the match in 15 minutes and 34 seconds. Solid opener. Good matchup. Great fight. Good effort by both men. They were going back and forth. There was some good action here. And there was I really thought I had an enjoyable match. I thought it was great. It was solid. It was great. Nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
Fight of the night for me, 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. Much more violent match than most people expected. Jon Moxley is known for his bloody encounters, but Sammy Guevara is not. While it may have been unintentional, having a little color in this match after Guevara ripped out Mox's earring helped make it feel more competitive. And then Mox called out Hangman after the match, and the Cowboy was more than happy to meet him in the aisle for a fight. Security eventually broke them up, but Hangman got in more shots. Moxley's cutter a bit sloppy, but Guevara sold it well. Live crowd got to see it, but not having Moxley's entrance shown on TV is weird. His entrance music is as over as he is, not to mention Justin Roberts' epic intro of him with the whole Gian Moxley thing. You know how much I love that. Seeing Guevara rip the earring out of Moxley's ear during the break was brutal. His ear was bleeding after it happened. Ty Mello wiped some of Moxley's blood on his face before slapping him. And then, of course, Guevara and Mello kissing while both were covered in Moxley's blood was disgusting. I agree with that. But other than that, very good match. Fight of the night for me. 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star, no doubt. So, Michael Bullock, outcome never in doubt. We knew Moxley was going to win, but a much more violent match than expected. And now Moxley and Hangman continuing their build. You know they're going to be meeting down the road. So Bullock, it's yours. 3.5, 3 3/4 for me. Fight of the night.
Yeah, fight of the night. 3.5, 3 3/4. I mean, definitely a great way to start off Rampage with a match like this. And I mean, more violent than what we expected out of this. And I mean, Guevara ripping the earring out of Jon Moxley's ear and certainly added to it. So I mean, and of course the ongoing feud between Jon Moxley and Adam Hangman Page, and they're going to be meeting somewhere down the line. So we'll wait and see when. So there's really nothing more for me to say. So Fletch, it is yours.
All right, with that said, we do indeed move on. Next up, we did have Anthony O get to lead off. It was Dr. Britt Baker, DMD versus Sky Blue. Dr. Britt wins the match in 6 minutes and 15 seconds. But after the match, a familiar face from AEW makes her return, looking for a fight.
Hikaru Shida. Yeah. I'll get into that in a minute. Sky Blue did her best and got in some good offense, but this was always going to end with Dr. Britt Baker scoring the win. We just saw Action Andretti upset Chris Jericho on Dynamite in his very first match. The odds of seeing it happen again on Rampage in this bout were very low. Decent match, but it was relatively basic as well. Having Hikaru Shida show up with a kendo stick to have a confrontation with the women's champion, Jamie Hayter, was a good way to cap this segment, though. It's always impressive when anyone with really long hair can wrestle without having several ripped out by accident. Blue hit a nice super kick right as the commercial break was over, and Baker's sling blade did not look good. She did not get enough rotation and landed weirdly. I could only give this about 2.5 stars for the effort, and that's really all there was to say. It was the worst fight of the night by default. On the short side, but at the same time, not the best, but not the worst either. Outcome never in doubt once again. But Wednesday night on Dynamite from the Freeman Coliseum in San Antonio, Texas, it will be Jamie Hayter in her very first defense of the AEW Women's Championship after winning it at Full Gear last month. She's going to defend it Wednesday night against Hikaru Shida. Whoa, first defense, and you're defending it against the most dominant women's champion of all time in Hikaru Shida, who held it for a little over a year. Yeah, good luck. But I got a good feeling Hayter's going to come out of that. So, because Shida's been more of a utility veteran as of late. So, I think that's what they're doing with her here. So, 2.5 stars by default, worst fight of the night. Michael Bullock, not the best, but not the worst either.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, not the best, but definitely not the worst. 2.5 stars. I'm with you on that one. I mean, the outcome was never in doubt. Britt Baker was going to go over here, but yeah, now Jamie Hayter and Hikaru Shida Wednesday on Dynamite for the AEW Women's World Championships. Should be a very good one. So, yeah, nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, no doubt about it. 2.5. I totally agree with you guys here. But I will not call it the worst fight of the night because the worst fight of the night actually goes here. It was Exodus Prime versus Wardlow. Wardlow squashes him in 2 minutes and 6 seconds. There's really nothing to add on that one. Main event on the show, guys, was an 8-man tag team fight. It was Dustin Rhodes, Orange Cassidy, Trent Beretta, and Chuck Taylor, the best friends. They went up against the Butcher, the Blade, Kip Sabian, and Trent Severin. When it was all said and done, it was the face team, the best friends, and Orange Cassidy and Dustin Rhodes winning the match in 10 minutes and 42 seconds. Michael Bullock, you lead off on the main event.
I thought it was a solid main event here. I mean, I'll give it about maybe 3.25 here. I mean, definitely could have been better, but I definitely enjoyed it for the amount of time it did get. I mean, the outcome to me was never in doubt. I mean, I knew the face team was definitely going over here, so yeah, nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, this is about 3. I'll give it a solid 3. I thought it was a fine main event. It was good action, good wrestling, all the way through. There was really nothing more to say there. So, Anthony, it's yours.
3.25 for this. As with any match with this many competitors, it was fast-paced and saw the momentum shift many times. In the end, Dustin Rhodes hit a running bulldog to Trent Seven to score the win for his team. The Butcher and the Blade have been one of the most reliable duos in AEW for a long time, and it would be nice to see a sustained push for them. The way Rampage is structured can be weird sometimes. It felt like way too much of this match happened during the final commercial break. That's one of the downsides of having a 1-hour show with 4 matches on it. Orange Cassidy pretending the bunny hit him below the belt, and then Danhausen doing the same thing to Penelope Ford. A little Eddie Guerrero type moment there. A little lying, cheating, and stealing moment was hilarious. And the way Trent Seven sold the Bulldog from Rhodes was great. So 3 to 3.25 for this. I do stand corrected. The Wardlow squash, obviously the worst fight of the night. And bump up the women's match to 3rd. So this was the second best here. 3 to 3.25 overall review time.
All right. I'm going to say about 7 out of 10. I think it was all right. The only bad fight was the Wardlow match. But other than that, solid to good. Anything memorable? No, not really. But it was an easy 60 minutes to watch. I thought it was fine for what it was worth. I think this is one of those shows that was solid, but it's going to be forgettable. The Smackdown definitely is going to get the headlines tonight. A lot of people are going to feel like Smackdown definitely won tonight over Rampage pretty easily. So nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
This was let me see. This was about, I will give this about 6.5 to 7 here. The opener was the clear fight of the night, Moxley and Guevara. Solid main event with the 8-man tag. Women's match, like I said, not the best, but not the worst either. And then he had a delicious squash. So I figure about 6.5 to 7 here. So not much more to say. Bullock, your overall thoughts, and then we'll give it to MF for his Mikey's mindset.
Yeah, 6.5 to 7 is my rating for this as well. So not much more to say. So Fletch, if you're ready to go, it's time for your Mikey's mindset and your review of that RWA event.
RWA goes Broadway, as it was down at the Columbus Theater, downtown Providence, and my goodness, what an afternoon it was. Special thank you to my good friend Jen Ellis. She was the one that hooked me up with VIP access to the show. So she was the one that got me into the building. And yeah, so here we go. So, first fight of the night we had, or the first fight of the afternoon, I should say, was Frankie Bones, going one-on-one with the Misfit himself, Sean Leader, and Frank Bones won this match. Solid opener, good back and forth fight. I actually ranked it 2.5 stars. I thought it was a really good matchup, really good, entertaining than anything else. And then we had the Mighty Bosch. Mighty Bosch was in a match. I don't remember who the guy was. Okay. If you like funny, entertaining thing, they started it out where the opponent for Mighty Bosch comes out, and he actually was doing a performance of, or he was trying to do a performance of, I think he said it was Phantom of the Opera. It was something very Broadway. I'll openly admit that. Well, Mighty Bosch and his partner, his manager, they come out and they started playing. They started doing Grease. And yes, it was a little bit of a shocking moment. Mighty Bosch wins in a delicious squash. There's really nothing more to add there, as it was a very good matchup, to say the very least. So then we had Izzy Star versus Calvin Gillum, and Calvin wins the match. Solid fight, good match, one-on-one. Izzy Star was going to try to take a powder and run away, but one of the young guns showed up and basically told him, get your butt back into the ring. You ain't running away from this one. And Calvin gets the win there. Then we had Danny Anthem versus Coach Will. Danny Anthem wins the match, but it was a little bit of a tainted victory. Referees back. Basically, there was a little bit of a tussle, and the referee was kind of caught in the middle here. Danny Anthem knocks Coach Will below the belt, low blow with the boot to the back, to the nether regions. This would have, if Anthony and I would have done this, Floyo, this would have been classic you and me. I would have been yelling, what a miscarriage of justice. You would have been like, I didn't see nothing wrong with that.
No, I would have done you one better. I would have, you would have said, and then we saw, you see the low blow, and then you say low blow, and then you'll hear me mumble just a little out loud, brilliant, and then you'll hear you like, what? You hear what? Brilliant. Yeah.
Yep.
Like, brilliant. And then when the 3 went down, I'm like, what do I always tell you, Fletcher? What do I always tell you? You know the motto. Win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat.
Yep, and that's exactly how it would have been. We would have really gone, like, you and I that would have been golden moment for us, because that's exactly what it was. All right, so next up we had was the Dirt City Murder Crew. It was Mike Montero, the Ace Mike Montero, and Jamie Tucker. They went up against Tom Billington and a partner of his choosing. Now, Tom Billington gave us a couple of hints who it was. Some fans were freaking out. I knew who it was instantly. Jen Ellis was giving me the sheepish look, like because the light bulb went off in my head when I knew who it was. Time travel, former world champion, and has a very beautiful daughter to say the very least. Time travel was the dead giveaway. He is a former RWA heavyweight champion of the world. And yes, he does have a beautiful daughter, to say the boot. And it is the return of the insane Dick Lane. He's back in RWA. Monster pop. The place explodes. And Tom Billington and Dick Lane wins the match. Dick Lane pins Jamie Tucker for the win. And that was huge. Because if Dirt City, if DCMC would have won that match, they would have been the number one contenders for the RWA World Tag Team Championships. That is now out of the picture, and the champions will remain the champions. Sean Leader and Tom Billington will not have to worry about the Dirt City Murder Crew now, because they are now out of contention for the tag team titles. So this was a number one contenders eliminator. They have been eliminated. All right, next up. It was Team No Respect versus Pumpalicious. Okay, this one was an interesting fight. So, first off, Pumpalicious comes out with David Morales, who is the commissioner of RWA. This guy got booed out of the building. I mean, we're talking X-Pac heat, go away heat. This was, oh my God. If it was deafening, Florio, you would have been like, wow. You would have been like, I don't know how you would have played that, but you would have been relishing the boo birds, man. You would have been like, oh my goodness. He got booed out of the building. Pumpalicious won by cheating. However, they did do a beatdown. They were beating up Team No Respect. But Florio, guess what? There was a bomb that got dropped right after that. Because guess who showed up? USWF RI Rhode Island Championship Wrestling. It don't get better than this.
Danger Boy Alfredo?
And the Wolverine. They showed up.
Oh my God, I wish we were there. If I had been there with you, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
We would have done it. That was one of our run. I mean, I'll let you a little bit in here, friends. One of our running gags about 20 years ago, you know, we had a local channel. MF, you have it because it's on the Cox, but I don't on my end. But the Rhode Island Interconnect channel, they used to show, you know, not only the New England Wrestling Alliance, but also the Rhode Island Wrestling Alliance. And MF's boy on that was Wolverine. My boy on that was Danger Boy Alfredo. And then in addition to those wrestling shows, Danger Boy Alfredo and the Wolverine did like some sort of shows together. Some like not necessarily wrestling shows, but more like variety type shows. And of course, we'll never forget the antics they had on some cruise ship with a gentleman named Timothy from Southern California. But that was more of me and the other guy there. But I'll tell you what, I mean, their catchphrase, MF and I, you know, whenever we back in the days when we were on the phone all the time, and especially during our senior year. And I remember the night before our graduation ceremony, we talked about it and we signed off by saying it. The catchphrase, the legendary catchphrase of Danger Boy Alfredo and the Wolverine. Just for you, my friends. MF, you know how to do it. It doesn't get any better than this. Woo! Oh, what I would have given to have been there with you. If I had been there with you at that moment, I would have marked the F out first off, and number two, we would have done it right there.
Oh yeah. And the thing was, I freaked out. I lost it. I yelled out, "Oh my freaking God!" I don't think my friend Jen Ellis had any idea what Wolverine and Danger Boy Alfredo meant. But then a couple of days later, I mentioned to her about it at the job because she is a part of the 2184 crew.
Indeed.
So I mentioned to it at the job, and I told her the deep cut of Danger Boy Alfredo and Wolverine, watching them from back then, and I said I'm about to show my age here, and sure enough, I referred to that moment, that wrestling, that was awesome. It was amazing. And now the rumor. Now I don't know if it's official yet, but Pumpalicious might be fighting them in February at the next RWA show. Now I haven't heard anything as of yet. No matches have been announced, but I believe that is the track that we're getting. Either that or we might have a possible 8-man fight. I don't know. We'll see. But something tells me Danger Boy and Wolverine might be showing up, or they might be competing very, very, very soon in RWA. So
if they're on that next show, that does it. I'm in.
All right. So
and we're gonna do the catchphrase when we do.
Oh, we got to do it. We'll do it. We'll definitely do it. So next up we had was a tag team fight, and it was Anthony Stone and Kellen Thomas. They went up against two members of the Young Gun, Isaac Knox and AJP, and it was Stone and Thomas winning the match. Solid fight, very good matchup. Nothing more to say. This was one of those good matchups, back and forth bouts. But Anthony Stone and Kellen Thomas does get the victory. And then at the end, AJP kind of got into Isaac Knox's ear saying, "What are you doing? This and that." I'm really feeling dissension among the ranks here. And it's definitely something that we might need to keep a closer eye on, especially down the line. But until then, let's get into this. Next up we had was Nick Marchand going one-on-one with the Mind Eraser, Mike Grassa. Grassa wins the match by pinfall. It was a solid matchup. Good back and forth fight. Grassa getting a big victory in that matchup, to say the very least. And definitely an enjoyable victory, to say the very least. Then we had a 6-man tag team fight. A 6-person tag, I should say. The Working Class Heroes and Ellie Valentine, they went up against Steven Lust, Little Mean Kathleen, and Teddy Goods. And it was the face team of Steven Lust, Little Mean Kathleen, and Teddy Goods getting the victory in the co-main event of the evening. Solid match, to say the very least. Next up we had was indeed the main event, the RWA World Heavyweight title on the line. T Phoenix versus the heavy hitter Shay Cash. Shay Cash successfully defends the title by cheating in that match. But then David Morales talked about that he wanted it to destroy the Phoenix legacy. Basically, it's like that tonight the Phoenix legacy was going to die in this very venue, in this very arena. Well, the next thing that happens was he issues an open challenge to any member of the Phoenix legacy. Now, T Phoenix has 2 sons, AJ, and he has one other. Well, AJP is like, screw it, I'm taking the shot. You're giving me an opportunity, a golden opportunity to fight for the triple for the World Heavyweight title for RWA. This is my family's legacy. This is my family's birthright. Yo, my dad is the founder, the owner. He's the Imperial Grand Poobah of this whole company. I'm going for the gold. AJ versus Shay Cash. AJP is heavyweight champion of the world. AJ Phoenix wins the RWA World Heavyweight Championship. History being made, unprecedented crowning. It was an unbelievable turn of events, and nobody saw this coming. The crowd goes absolutely bonkers. I stood up out of my seat applauding, and I had to take a moment because I needed it to feel that the building. I needed it to feel the crowd. And deep down in my mind, I'm like, good for him, man. He deserves it. I remember watching him about 7-8 years ago when he was really learning his craft in a professional wrestling. And they've been doing this for about almost 15 years now. This company, RWA, has been around for almost 15 years. I've been a fan of them about 8 years. The first time I ever went to an RWA show was at the East Providence Rec Center. When they were doing RWA at the East Providence Recreational Center, they did 2 shows around that time, and it was one of my closest friends. And as a matter of fact, one of the inspirations that got me into RWA was Megan Silva. She was the one that got me in, that invited me to see the RWA because of the fact that she knew I loved wrestling. She knew I fell in love with professional wrestling, and she invited me for that show. And ever since then, I've been believing the hype of the Renegade Wrestling Alliance, and I've been hooked ever since. Every time I've gone, I've had an enjoyable experience, and the guys are so appreciative, and they would love to work with us in the very near future. Talking Wrestling, TXN, and RWA might be having a working relationship very, very, very soon. We've done it in the past when it was that other wrestling company. Now I've opened the door and opened the line of communications, and we might be getting some RWA content on our channels again very soon, and I cannot wait to do it. This was an amazing show. They're going to be back in February 2023. There is a show coming up at the at Our Lady of Rosary Church, which is in Providence. That's the next time that they're doing it. And I think they said February 25th. I think I remember correctly. February 25th is going to be the day for that event. More information should be coming out very soon. RWAforever.com is the official website, but they also do have social media. They got Instagram, they got Twitter, they got Facebook. So log on to their website whenever the announcements are coming up, and I will be making another RWA thing very soon, right here on Cerebral Smack Talk, and we'll be setting some stuff up in the very near future with the show. So that's it. We're done. We're out of here. All right. So Monday night, we do it all over again, starting with Ridiculously Raw, hosted by Anthony Florio at 11 p.m. Eastern, when Monday Night Raw goes off the air. Monday Night Raw, as always, and then Tony has his Tony's Take. I don't believe that there's going to be any impact, because I don't know if they're going to start doing the holiday shows or their best of. I think it might be their best of.
Well, this upcoming week there will be an Impact review, no doubt about it.
All right,
and which featured a title change, by the way, unprecedented crowning in their own right. So, which title changed hands? You'll have to wait and find out until Monday.
You'll have to wait and find out. Yeah. All right. So after that, then of course Wednesday Night Madness, hosted by me, and we'll be doing it the same thing. And then Thursday, another round of NFL Thursdays. Friday, 1 week from tonight, we do it all over again right here on Cerebral Smack Talk. So guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, like the video, leave a comment at the bottom, share with all your friends on all the social media platforms around the world, as I always would like to say. And for all of us here, thank you so much. For Anthony Florio, for Michael Bullock, in spirit, Dee Woodson, the First Lady, I am good old F. Michael Fletcher. You know what? I'm about to do something that I haven't done in ages, but I feel like it deserves it here tonight. Hugs and hand pounds. Have a good night, everybody. So long for now.
Goodbye.